Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would share with you my gear evolution when it comes to water filters. Now I've used several different types of water filters over my many years of backpacking, and I thought I would talk with you about why I chose each one and some of the pros and cons of that, as well as why I selected a new choice or a different type of water filter and how that best fit my needs for on the trail. And my hope is that this will save you maybe some money, maybe a little frustration as you're trying to figure out what is the right type of water filtration for you. The priorities for me anyway is that I want to be able to scoop my water, I want to be able to drink immediately, and I want to be able to go and continue on my hike without much, without much effort at all. Well, the first water filter that I used way back when I first started, didn't know anything about backpacking, was a water filter pump. Yes, my first filter was the pump. And this is when I didn't know anything about backpacking. I'd never gone backpacking at this point. I was just getting interested in it probably about 10 years ago. And I didn't know what to look for. So I just went on Amazon and found a pump and 30, 40 bucks. So it's like, hey, okay, I'll do that. And it filters the water like it's supposed to. But in hindsight now, there's just so many cons to using this water filter, the pump. And one is just it's heavy. It's kind of bulky. It's heavy compared to the filters that we use today. It doesn't compact very well, so it takes up a lot of room in your pack when you're trying to hike as well. That's a con. And then just the filtering of the water itself is, it takes a lot of time. I say a lot of time compared to what I use now, where I can scoop it up in 5 seconds and I would be done. As opposed to sitting there on the ground, find a little puddle, and then you can start pumping the water and take 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on the kind of water source that you have. And that's just a pain in the butt to always be having to stop and pump out your water for your filters. So that's not very ideal. I quickly realized that I needed a better water filter solution on the trail. And that's when I evolved to my next water filter solution, the Lifestraw Water Bottle. My next gear choice for water filtration on the trail was the Lifestraw Water Bottle. Now, I had seen this in REI and it seemed like a pretty good solution. I could scoop the water fairly easily and quick and take off on the trail, which is really what I'm looking to do when I'm backpacking, is scoop, go, and drink immediately, right? That's what I'm looking for. And the Lifestraw Water Bottle tend to do that. And it was a good solution for what I knew at the time. But as you can see, I mean, it's a Nalgene bottle, so it's a bit heavier than I think it should be. It doesn't collapse very well. It's like a water bottle, basically, a thick, heavy water bottle. But it does the job, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Another con for me is the ability of sucking the water through the straw. It can be done, but it takes a little bit of effort. It's like having a strawberry milkshake, and as you're trying to suck out the milkshake, you get a little piece of strawberry that's stuck at the end of the straw, and it's kind of hard to pull the milkshake through the straw because of that strawberry. Well, the Lifestraw water bottle is pretty similar to that. And then after a while, as the filter just clogged in the water bottle, it almost became impossible. So I threw it away, and I had to find a better solution than Lifestraw water bottle. So you may be saying, well, Gerald, there's an actual straw out there that Lifestraw offers instead of the big bulky Nalgene bottle version of the filter. And I had considered that, but again, it didn't satisfy some of my requirements. One is you drink it. You know, you're drinking right there at the source. And I know you can attach it to the end of some type of a water bag. I know there's some attachments that will work with that, that you could do that. So technically, I guess you could use that and scoop and go. But a lot of times when they're advertising it, right, you're seeing people sucking water straight from the stream or the creek. And I wanted to take the water with me. Plus, I didn't want to lay down in a creek where it's wet and it's muddy. If you've ever been backpacking, generally that's not a place you want to lay down on your stomach and trying to get water. Sometimes you're in some kind of funky, odd positions just trying to get your, you know, your bag under a water, trying to fill it up. And it's difficult at times. And so I didn't want to have to rely on trying to drink straight from the creek with a straw. So that's why I went with the bottle, the Nalgene bottle version of the Lifestraw. Like I said, it worked pretty well. I used the Lifestraw water bottle for about a year, but that's when I was introduced to YouTube. And that's where I got addicted and hooked to backpacking videos, especially gear videos. And I became aware of so many more options that backpackers had on the trail. So I know that I needed to evolve. The Sawyer Squeeze, one of my favorite water filtering options. It's not my top choice. It's not my top water filter that I would choose, but it's still one of the best. And I use it for a backup on my backpacking trips. It's great because it's lightweight, it's compactable, it fits on a regular standard water bottle that you can find in any grocery store. So it's really convenient, it's easy to use, it can filter, you know, thousands and thousands of liters, and it's great. You can backflush it and clean the filter when you get home. You can even clean it on trail as well. So it is a great option. But there is one thing that I don't like about the Sawyer Squeeze, is that when you start drinking it, all the air starts coming out of the water bottle. And what you have to do is constantly take the filter off, let the air back in, and then put the filter back on. Now I know that's not a huge deal. That's why the Sawyer Squeeze is still one of my favorites, but it's kind of annoying after a while to always having to slide the filter on and off to let the air back in the bottle, whether you're drinking or even if you're filtering the water. So that gets to be kind of a pain after a while. So that's really the only reason the Sawyer Squeeze is not my top option. My next step in my water filter evolution will be my last, and that'll be my Katadyn Be Free. The Katadyn Be Free is my #1 water filter option on the backpacking trip. It allows me to simply scoop. It has a nice wide mouth, so it easily scoops up the water. Within a matter of seconds, I screw on the top of my filter, and I'm ready to go and ready to drink. And that is why Katadyn Be Free is my #1 option on a backpacking trip. So the Katadyn Be Free is my water filter of choice on the backpacking trail. Again, it has a lot of advantages similar to the Sawyer. It's lightweight, it's compactable, I can scoop and begin to immediately drink, and so I love it. But one thing that I think is a little better about the Katadyn than the Sawyer is that I don't get that water bottle that kind of collapses, having to open the top and let the air back in so I can drink. Because the Be Free is a collapsible water bottle, then that doesn't happen to it. The only negative that I can think of with the Katadyn Be Free is that it just doesn't filter as many liters as the Sawyer Squeeze does before it needs to be replaced. But to be honest, I've been using it for 2 or 3 years now, and I just don't filter that much water. And if I do need to replace it, they're not that expensive. The filter, I think, is 40 bucks. So I'm willing to pay that every few years once I reach that liter max. And so that's not really too big of an issue, but definitely something that you may want to consider. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the different options that are out there that you can take on a backpacking trip. Again, these are my preferences, things that work for me. The type of backpacking that I would like to do is why I chose the Katadyn Be Free. To me, you can't go wrong with either the Sawyer Squeeze or the Katadyn Be Free. I just like the Katadyn Be Free a little bit better because I don't have to worry about the bottle collapsing, having to take the filter off, letting air back in, closing it back up. It gets kind of old and annoying after a while, for me anyways. So that is why the Katadyn Be Free is my top choice on a backpacking trip.